Hello, everybody. Your professor is here. Spider-Man is here. The Avengers are here. Even Patrick of Ireland and Francis of Assisi are here. And we want to welcome you to History of Christianity, Early to Medieval. We hope that you are ready to jump in and learn about 1,500 years of Christian history. What a trip! Well, my name is Dr. Rex Butler, and here at New Orleans Baptist Theological Seminary, I am professor of church history and patristics. Patristics is a word that comes from the Latin word for father, and it refers to the early church fathers. And because my expertise is in ancient Christianity, the seminary asked me to design this course in a history of Christianity, early to medieval. Now, often I will be the professor of this course, but at other times, other qualified, knowledgeable, credentialed teachers will lead you in this class. So look around and be sure you know who is the professor of this section that you are studying in. I'd like to share with you an overview of the content of this course. First of all, let me ask you a question. Where would you begin your study of church history? Would it be the life of Christ, the calling of his disciples, Christ's death and resurrection, or Pentecost? Well, it is my conviction that the birth of the church occurred with Pentecost, when the Holy Spirit indwelt Christ believers in a whole new way. But we will begin our study of church history with Alexander the Great. Yes, I believe that it is important for us to understand the foundation of the church, and so we need to look at the context of the early church. And that's why Unit 1 begins with a survey of the Greek world, the Roman Empire, and the Hebrew context of the early church. Now, for the most part, we will bypass the life of Christ and the book of Acts. I will leave those studies to your New Testament professors. But we will look at persecution in the New Testament as well as the early centuries of the church. Some of the most inspiring stories from the early church tell us about the courage and devotion of the men and women who witnessed to their faith even to the point of death. And by way of application, we also will compare Christian suffering in the early church with global persecution today. We will study heresy and orthodoxy, as well as the development of the New Testament canon. These are topics that are integral to our understanding of Christianity today. After all, heresies in the early church are mirrored in modern cults. We will spend time on the great theological debates on the Trinity, the nature of Jesus, who he is, and what he has done. The early church fathers hammered out the doctrines of God, Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit, salvation, and the church on the anvils of controversy. And we are the beneficiaries of their hard work. The union of church and state began with Constantine, and that often uneasy relationship impacted the church throughout subsequent centuries, even until today. You know, the history of Christianity is made up of the stories of great Christian men and women, and I enjoy sharing these inspiring stories with my students. Now, most of us minister in a context dominated by Catholicism. And for this reason, we will look at the rise of the Catholic Church and its two great institutions, papacy and monasticism. We also will study the rise of Islam. That may seem unusual in a course on Christian history, but the fact is that Islam had a tremendous impact on the church in the Middle Ages, especially during the Crusades, not to mention headlines in today's newspapers. As we approach the end of our journey through these formative centuries, we will see the dawn of the Reformation, those events, movements, and major figures who led to the Reformation of the 16th century. So, as you see, we have a long way to go and a lot to cover, but it is my hope and prayer that our studies will be beneficial to us as we understand how church history is a tapestry woven together of many threads that are contributed by men, women, events, politics, culture, and so on. And today we are part of this tapestry. So let's get started on our visit to the early and medieval Christian church. Let's enjoy the trip together. Thank you very much.